Welcome to Passages Pulse, where we track the heartbeat of Israel and the Middle East from a Christian perspective. In a time of confusion, division, and misinformation, we're here to help you cut through the noise with truth, clarity, and conviction. Hi everyone, Sebastian here. We're doing a special episode reacting to the attacks that Israel just did on Iran. Right now, as we're recording, we're in Washington, D.C. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, June 13. We wanted to do a quick reaction and explain what has just happened. I'm here with a special friend, Irad. He's an experienced tour guide from Israel. He's guided a lot of our groups for many years. If you had Irad as one of your tour guides, please let us know in the comments. Say hi to Irad. We're so happy to have him in Washington, D.C. with us this weekend. And we just wanted to react to what happened. So, Irad, Israel just attacked Iran. What happened? Tell us the basic details of what Israel just did.
So last night, actually, it started less than 24 hours ago. Last night, Israeli Air Force struck simultaneously a few installations and facilities in Iran, targeting mostly the number one and the largest enrichment facility for uranium, which is called Natanz. That, according to recent estimations, was hosting like more than 52,000 centrifugal devices to enrich uranium. Wow. And according to estimations, the attack was quite effective, and the installation is severely damaged. And throughout that attack, and it is pretty much simultaneously at the same time, by using a variety of measures, some of them deployed previous the attack on the ground. They also attacked some of the anti-aircraft installations and systems to provide complete safe skies for the Israeli Air Force to do their striking. And they also eliminated some of the leadership, commanders and leaders of the Iranian
Revolutionary
Guard,
Corps,
IRGC.
Yeah.
And so those were eliminated also quite at the very beginning of the attack. And by deploying measures on the ground, which most probably were deployed by Israel months ahead the attack, they even managed to destroy quite a few ballistic rocket launchers, which were aiming towards Israel. And as we speak, the raids are still going on continuously for 24 hours.
It is 1 p.m., like I said, on Friday. Right now, they're still doing operations. They're like...
It's now 8 p.m. in Israeli time. And according to recent updates, the Israeli Air Force is still operating. And now they are targeting the other major enrichment facility, which is called Pordo, which is closer to Tehran, actually.
Okay.
Slightly closer. It's been going on.
How is this one different from the other, this base, the second one?
Pordo, unlike Natanz, which is bigger in capacity, Pordo is much harder to attack because it's actually located literally under a mountain, like deep underground. So yet to be determined how effective those attacks were, if at all. Hopefully they would. And obviously, this whole situation affects immediately the life in Israel.
Yes.
People are changing their routine, the daily routine. People were not going to work. People were required by the authorities and requested by the authorities to remain in a near vicinity of bomb shelters.
Yes.
And it's been going on for almost like 24 hours now. And probably will continue further.
Well, that's the first prayer point. We got to be praying for Israelis, who millions of them are nearby bomb shelters, standing by for the retaliation of Iran, which already happened. They already launched about 100 drones. Israel seems to have dealt with that. Remember, last year, the Iranians launched more than 400, I think, in two different instances, drones to Israel. Israel was
not only drones, but also ballistic
missiles, interballistic missiles. And Israel had help from the United States, from other allies in the region. So this is a huge deal. As I understand, Israel was able to modify airplanes and put things on the wings, right? This is how they went to Lebanon and were able to get Nasrallah with really deep underground bombs. And this is what they're doing as well right now for Iran. So 200 airplanes, as we know, but also some people on the ground. Tell us about this. How is it that Israel is able to get people in the ground and Iranians cooperating with this? Does Israel respond that?
Probably. We cannot know. The details are like obviously classified. But the Mossad is definitely involved in deploying ground forces, potentially perhaps Israelis as well. And it's been going on for quite a few months. I mean, this is not something that you can prepare in a short notice of like 24 hours ahead. We're talking about installations and facilities which have to be installed like months ahead. All of those are operated by remote controls from obviously from a distance. But it's been going on approximately for quite a few months, for quite a while now. That's for sure.
Yeah, and we want to
who exactly on the ground is involved, and like obviously we cannot. I don't know the details, and obviously nobody's going to share these details. But that by itself is quite remarkable because they managed to accomplish like almost like a complete annihilation of the Irani anti-aircraft systems.
Yeah.
And so yeah, which is all of their radars and fire control and systems are most of them are neutralized. And we're talking particularly on the northwestern part of Iran. Iran is huge. So
yeah, yeah.
And
it's far from Israel.
And even in the sense of realizing that it is all happening in a distance of like 12 to 1,400 miles away from Israel, that's very remarkable. So.
Yeah, and we'll remind people the reason why Israel is able to do this now, they couldn't do this 2 years ago. Like November 2023, they couldn't do this. But Israel has dealt with the Hezbollah threat. Syria has collapsed, so Israel is able to fly over Syria with no problem, fly over Lebanon. So they also took out the defenses. So this was a window opportunity. So why now? What do you think this week?
First of all, because I don't know exactly. I just saw they just released on media that this raid was actually supposed to happen on April.
Okay.
But for a variety of different reasons, they decided to correspond.
I heard about this, like during Purim. They were trying to do it during Purim.
Well, perhaps.
Meaningful, yeah.
But here's the thing: it's still quite remarkable, even in terms of the achievements on the ground, and the way it was participated by surprising the Iranis in terms of the exact timing and basically taking them by surprise. By the way, it wasn't the scenario on October 7. October 7, 23 was a completely different scenario because by 24 hours after a Hamas engagement, when Hezbollah engaged from Lebanon, we were facing like a multi-front situation, which had to be dealt in a completely different way. And obviously, the priorities were obviously slightly different because the southern front with Gaza Strip was definitely the number one priority to be dealt with. And now we are on a completely different page. So
let's highlight something. So Israel is at war with Iran, but now with the Persian people, the people of Iran. Like we just mentioned, the reason why Israel is able to do this is because they have a lot of friends in Iran. They have people who are willing to collaborate. You know, Iranians who hate their government, who hate the oppressive regime of the Ayatollahs, and they're collaborating with Israel probably to help them do this. So Israel is not at war with the Iranian people. We will need to pray that the Iranian people will see freedom. They've been living for decades under this regime. So this is a great window opportunity for the people of Iran to rise up and maybe affect change in their country. Israel targeted key people, which knows they know where they live, they know where they were at the time, and like they targeted Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, right, in an apartment, and only he died.
Very precise, precision attacks, which is also partially all about reducing to basically minimizing to zero any possibility of collateral damage, but also targeting only the specific targets which were designated and decided by the Air Force and by the headquarters of the IDF and obviously the government. So
let me ask you on a personal point. You grew up seeing the threat of Iran threatening your country and arming people around them. You fought wars against people financed by Iran. You're a commando from the Navy, a veteran. Do you ever think that you will see this, Israel attacking Iran directly? How do you process this historic moment?
And I think that prior October 7, 23, nobody would expect anything of that, such type of scenario happening. I think that in many ways, October 7 and the events after October 7 and ever since are definitely a major game changer, even in terms of the mindset of our leadership. But I think it is also partially the realization that the Irani Persians, who are super smart in negotiation, they are the toughest and the most sophisticated negotiators ever. In terms of the negotiations with the Americans with regards to their nuclear program, are the masterminds of like stalling and until they would achieve basically their goals.
Yeah.
And it seems like it was realized by Israeli leadership and by the IDF headquarters as well, by the chief of staff, etc., that we have like a special opportunity of like a time window, and that this would be the perfect timing to engage, to achieve, basically to achieve the goal. I wouldn't argue that it's like all completely to destroy the entire nuclear program of Iran, but definitely to send them back like 20 or 30 years back, which is definitely a major game changer.
Yeah, they're obsessed with this. You're going to keep trying. This is all they have. They are the only way that they can survive as a regime is by pursuing nuclear weapons and instilling fear on Israel and the people. So I think we need to pray. What Israel just did is prevent Iran from continuing to advance towards a nuclear weapon. Somebody should have done this to North Korea some time ago, right? Now North Korea has a nuclear arsenal. We can't do anything about it. But Israel cannot allow Iran to have nuclear weapons because they say it every day. They want to kill Israel. They want to destroy Israel. Death to Israel, death to America. And they did us a favor. I'm speaking now as an American. I'm grateful that Israel just did this because Iran is a dangerous enemy that is bent on destroying America as well. And they have now, Israel has now prevented Iran from obtaining this weapon. So we need to pray for Israelis. We need to pray for American servicemen, servicewomen around the region because Iran is probably going to target American bases, American personnel around the region. And we need to pray for peace. I hope that Israel finishes the job. They already started this, just get it done. Make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. And we'll see what happens. So you're stuck here for now because Israel has closed its airspace. Nobody can get in and out. What are your closing thoughts on this? What do you think the people in Israel are thinking about, how they're feeling? How's your family doing?
Obviously, it affects all walks of life. Some of my kids were called on a very short notice, basically zero notice, to go for reserve duty. My youngest, she's an officer in the IDF, and she was supposed to be for the weekend at home, but as soon as it all started, she was called immediately to return back to her duties in the military. So it affects everybody, and even in sense of like normal civilians and children who cannot go to kindergartens or attend school. It definitely affects the whole, the entire different walks of life. And it's going to take a while. It's not going to be like a 24 hours. It may going to require a few days to go through. And hopefully we'll manage to go through without any casualties or major damages. So far, they're doing pretty well in terms of protecting and eliminating any potential incoming threats. So yeah, it's definitely going to take a while, and it will require a lot of discipline from the civilians and patience in terms of following the instructions by the authorities of remaining in the vicinity of home or like nearby bomb shelters, etc., which is not so very easy sometimes, particularly if it goes for several days in a row. But I think everybody realizes how important and how significant it is, and I think that in many ways we're looking at the making of history, perhaps, like a major step that perhaps potentially is going to change the course of history of this part of the world, of the Middle East.
It's a game changer. Israel has done amazing things by the grace of God in the last year, being able to recover their deterrence, be able to deter their neighbors. So we're going to keep watching this. Next week, we're going to have a regular episode of our podcast. Josiah will be back with us next week, hopefully. And, as I stand here in the nation's capital, I can see the capital of the Congress from here. And, President Trump has been negotiating with Iran. Iran is not willing to negotiate with America. And he told them, you either negotiate with us or this is what's going to happen. So we're going to see how, if America what would be the American involvement in this situation and what Israel continues to do. So these are historic times. And thank you, Irad, for being here with us. I hope you can get back home soon enough. And we'll see you in our next episode next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.